All right, guys, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. The past 4 months have been a wild ride. As you can see on this slide here, there's a search for classmates. We really didn't have a really great database. We could see names floating by on Facebook and maybe a few emails here and there. But to pull all this together and try and reach out to all of you and everybody in our class has been quite an experience. Cindy Whelan reached out to me and said, can you give us a little help in so far as doing that? And I live in Houston, Texas, for those of you who don't know, and I was elated to be able to help from afar, putting some slightly dormant computer skills back to work after retiring. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. If we go to the next slide. Those old JPEGs. So, many of you, I'm sure, thought like me, well, our class is 515 people, and that's it. Moses etched it in stone, and that's the number, and that's what you have to work with. But you start digging into these things, and surprise, surprise, some of the numbers don't always add up. We did have 515 in our commencement program, but you start looking elsewhere, like in the senior index in our yearbook, wow, there's 526. And you can look at, if you count up the senior pictures in the yearbook, it's like 480 something or something like that. And so anyway, you draw these circles and you find 460 that have all three of those in common. But overall, we were looking for 552 people that we had names for to try and reach out and tell them about this reunion that we wanted them to come. So let's go ahead and look at the next picture. This is a sliver of the spreadsheet that I put together to compile information and it came in. And if any of you are sick enough that you really want to see this on the computer, come see me afterwards. As the information came in, I was pulling this in, like the orange ones was people who passed away, the purple, we never found those people, addresses, email addresses, green people are coming, gray people said no, and so on and so forth. And this spreadsheet didn't exist 4 months ago. So, this was all put together in the past 4 months, and it's been fun most of the time. It's been exhilarating, and I want to give a shout out to the one person who is a bulldog and was determined we were going to find all 552 people come hell or high water, and that's Janine Zenke. She was awesome. I was like, don't you think we have enough? No. We're going to go look for some more, and we're going to find these people. And so we worked hard, and others contributed to this too. Let's look at the next slide and some of the numbers that you might be interested in. Like I said, the number 552, the last number we had for the people that passed away in the video you just saw was 78. So that left 474 people that we were trying to find. We think we've contacted around 443. These numbers have shifted a little bit over the past couple of days as we've found a few more pieces of information. Email addresses, which I was really after to do email mailings and stuff like that. I think we are now very close to actually 300 emails that mostly are accurate. Even if some of you don't answer those emails. I still have them. We'll talk about that in a second. And mailing addresses, we are up around 340 probably now or something like that. And so we worked this and we've got the number of people that we absolutely could not find down to after this week. I think we're around 26 or 27 out of 552. So it was a great team effort. That some other classes and what they're doing, I think that we did a pretty good job. Before you leave tonight, a couple of requests. I've been sending out email updates from this email address, fdsh.class.71@gmail.com. If you have not been getting them, it's because we don't have your right email address, or the settings on your email address are filtering this out for some reason or another. So you can come talk to us afterwards, but I've been using this to send out updates to people into those email addresses that I have. So hopefully most of you have been getting those. And I know a lot of you responded to them, and when you did answer me, you have no idea how happy that made me, that actually someone was at the other end of that email address. So thank you. So we want that email address. We want you to take lots of pictures. I know you guys have been doing that, and save them up if possible. And you can email them back to me, or wait for a little bit and email them when we go to the website, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you could really do me a favor and identify all the people that are in those pictures ahead of time, so I don't have to do it. That will take me quite a while. And so, let's go to the next slide. So, what are we going to do with all this information? You know, I've collected a bunch of information on you guys, and I have resisted the temptation to sell it to the dark web for immense profitability. But, so, I have not done that, I promise, and some of you that have asked me for email addresses know I'm very picky. I have hardly handed anybody out because that is a piece of valuable information, and I've treated it as such. But I don't want to be doing that for the rest of my life. And so I want to move all this information we've collected, because I do not want to build a spreadsheet again like that ever, and have it so that we can use it again for, say, our 55th reunion, or 53rd, or 58th, or whenever the committee decides they can stand to start planning another one. We'll see how that goes. So we're going to move to a website, and it's going to be www.fdsh71.com. Do not take notes on this. Do not write it. Do not try and access it right now, because we were hoping to have it up and running for this reunion, but we got so overwhelmed with doing the spreadsheet and the other things that we still have some work to do on that. But we paid, we've licensed the domain, we've picked out a company's website we can do, so we can use a lot of templates, and I can upload all your mail addresses, email addresses, information up there and get it started and everything like that. And we don't have to worry about the whims of social media. All of you, or many of you, have been putting out pictures on Facebook and stuff like that. They're great to see, but 2 years from now, are you going to remember who posted it so you can go back and find it? I won't. I always forget those things, so I want to be able to have a place to do that, and that's what we're going to do. So let's take a look here. This is a list of a whole bunch of reasons why we want a class website for various reasons. I'm going to turn it over to Mark here and let him give a few comments as to why we want to pursue this and how it's going to work.
Thank you, Eric. This website will be intended to be just kind of a central location for information about our class. It's not going to be open to the World Wide Web or the whole public. It's going to be closed. Those who have accounts that can access it will be able to get in there and see at least some of the basic information. There will be levels of security set up in that, so you can see what you want. But in terms of downloading the full email list to do marketing, for example, no, you won't be able to do that. You will have your own profiles in the website. One of the things that we want to do, as Eric said, is to try to collect the information from events like this, where you can put all your photos in there, and they will be there as a repository. The in memoriam video that you saw a little bit ago, that will also be on there. We have, as you're aware, some of you are aware, we do have 2 Facebook pages that have been operated by different people. One of them is FDSH Class of 1971, and the other one is Friends Who Like Class of 1971. And a lot of activities taking place there, particularly the Friends of one, and that has had a live video feed from tonight's activities as well, and that will be recorded. We want, as Eric said, we were basically starting from scratch almost 4 months ago with this. And we had some, going back to the in memoriam video, we had some lists that were not particularly accurate. We had some names that we were given that, as it turns out, they were still very much alive. There was one person I managed to find after contacting their neighbor. They had just moved to Gallery, and I said, look, you have a neighbor, so-and-so, and she said, oh yeah, they live there. And I said, well, I don't have a phone number for him. Could you have her call me? And she did about a day later, and she identified herself, and I said, wow, I'm glad you're alive. So it's just that sort of thing, and trying to find some of the later in life videos that you saw, I think that added to that video. It's been very difficult to find, and we've had to talk to relatives and scour all sorts of online resources for it. Some of you may have seen some people who were some friends, some classmates, some colleagues who were shown in that video that we didn't have a later in life photo for them, and we would love to get it. We can still update that video as I hate to call it a live project, but it is a work in progress, and it can be updated as we go along the line. There is a piece of paper at the end of the registration table, and if you saw anybody in there that you would have said, oh, I wish they would have had a later photo of them as well, all the names, the 25 names that we didn't have, are on this page back there. It's helped complete their story. And I think it's kind of important that you knew what they looked like in high school, but I just thought it was meaningful to try to see what they look like in later life. So let me talk for a minute about the email. And both of these projects can be kind of what you want it to be. I mean, Eric and I have just kind of taken this on, but we're kind of formulating this based on kind of the feedback that we have. The email, it's kind of up to what you want. We all get tons of email, we get junk mail, and it's like, really, do we want one more email? I guess I would like to get an email when a classmate, for example, has died, or if there's some significant development. But I think we're open to suggestions on that. I also help Paul Stevens, who is the son of the late editor of the Messenger, Walt Stevens, do a daily newsletter for AP retirees. And he started with about 50 names that he was sending it to. It's now up to over 1,900 names. And we can see who reads it. And one of the very first ones to read it is the CEO of the Associated Press, who Paul and I both work for. So it's the kind of thing that kind of connects you. I don't ever see us doing a daily email, but it can be a valuable thing to kind of keep the class connected.
So we go ahead and flip to the last page. We will be sending out an email and notify everybody when the site is launched and is ready for your active participation. That's why it's important we have a good email address for you to do that. So we're looking forward to getting this going. Let's see. And one thing, we're going to cover the first year expenses between Mark and I so that we don't have advertisements on the website floating across the bottom, because that's so annoying to all of us when we do that. But in the future, there will be a donations tab where you can contribute some money to help, hopefully, keep it ad-free. So if you have any other questions about this website coming forward, again, you can ask me through email. You can grab me in the back, although I'm not going to promise that I will remember everything you tell me tonight, so it might be better to put it in print in some form or fashion. But anyway, thanks in advance for your participation. It will work as well as everybody contributes to it, and we're looking forward to that. And thank you for giving me the information you have so far. And it's been great to be here this weekend. Thanks.